Hi, everybody. Matt here from Matt Likes Comics. I went to a comic show not too long ago at the Place d'Orleans shopping center in Ottawa, Ontario. I was accompanied by my friend Alan, the comic collector geek, and we happened to run into friend of both channels, Lau Tor, at the show, and the three of us went shopping for comics together and walked around and had a good time at the show. I really appreciate shows, and when I have the opportunity to talk and hang out with people, it's even more better. But it just adds that little extra to everything that we do. This show, the last time I went, was very small and mostly comic book vendors. This time, the show had at least tripled in size, and there were two aisles of the mall that had vendors in it, and there was at least 10 or 11 comic vendors there. Some were friends of the channel, like G-Riz Comics, who I haven't seen in a while, but I was glad to see, and Ian Wallace from Big Belly. He was there with Chris, and we had Ryan at Nefarious Comics there, and friend of the channel Kaboom Comics was there. Dave Martin was there. Of course, Mike Martin, who runs the show at Dark Age Comics, he was there. So was the comic detective Guelph. Comic Detective has been around for a long time. I've been doing business with him since the 1990s. He's probably at one point, it's changed now as I've discovered things like My Comic Shop, but there was a point that he probably was responsible for half my collection. Certainly the he certainly had at least 3/4 of the Superman families that I bought over the years. So I was so it was good to see Guelph there. And there were, Harry from Brockville was there. He's been in some of my earlier videos, as I've gone by and seen everybody. And, yeah, he's apparently opening a shop in Brockville, Ontario. So, we'll keep that up. Anything that's in a reasonable driving distance, it's good to hear that new stores are coming, considering the economic climate. So, I am now going to show you the books that I got at this show. I had a blast. I didn't spend a lot of money for once. And I didn't spend every dime in my pocket again for once. Let us begin with my meme favorite book. Chuck Norris 1, Karate Commandos. I've wanted this one for a while, but I've always seen it overpriced. I got a fantastic deal on this one at Kaboom Comics, so I was very happy to buy it. Which brings us to the question, who's more powerful, Chuck Norris or the Ferret? Write me in the comments who you think would win that fight. Next up, first issue special number 3 starring Metamorpho. I blame Nate for this one. Nate got a whole bunch of first issue specials and was talking about that stuff. So I, of course, saw this and decided to buy this. I got this from Nefarious Comics. Ryan, your stuff's always in great shape, and I'm glad to have this. So, first issue special number 3. I picked this up from a dealer that I'd never dealt with before. And I can't remember her name. She introduced herself, but the name escapes me. This is Night Stalkers 1. It was one of 2 books I needed left to finish the Rise of the Midnight Sun storyline. So I picked it up. I just need part 3, I believe now. I have to double check that. But, yeah, so Rise of the Midnight Suns has been an interesting read. I'm going to have to reread it in order once I get them all together. Lately, I have been watching on my off time when there's nothing else going on. I put it on in the background a lot. I'm a big Law and Order fan. However, I finished all 24 seasons not too long ago. So I was looking for something else to watch. when lo and behold, I remembered a series I loved as a kid. And that was Battlestar Galactica. This is number 2 and number 3. I got these off of Harry. Look at that shot of the Cylons, okay? These 2 issues, by the way, the first 3 issues of the series come directly from the first 2 episodes of the TV series from the '78 Battlestar Galactica. There are slight differences because the copy, the comic was based on was one of the earlier scripts. So there were updates on the show that weren't reflected in here. For example, Baltar is, I'm not sure if he's still, I've got to read these, but I've heard that Baltar is killed in this one and he's actually done, it's done on screen, so to speak. I'd have to check that because, I mean, honestly, because that was a last minute change. I do remember that because in the novel, Baltar is killed on the spot. So I'm curious if it's in the comic book as well. I've read the novels. I've read all the Battlestar Galactica novels. So I'm curious because they give background and such, you know, like that you don't see on the TV, right? Books are books. They fill. There's a lot of filler in there. You get the thoughts and all that other stuff. So I'm very familiar with this particular story. Also in Canada, those first 3 episodes or 2 episodes were released as a 2-hour movie in movie theaters to help get some money towards the TV show, which helped with the special effects. They were released in Canada and the United Kingdom, I believe. I know Canada for sure because I saw it when I was a kid. And I know it wasn't released in the United States because TV, they just wanted to make sure people watched it on television where there were ads. Next up are 3 from a run that I am also trying to finish. This is Conan number 248. Red Sonja is there. She's tied up for some strange reason. I haven't read it yet. But it's a nice bondage cover for those that are into such things. And Conan 249. These later issues of Conan, starting about 225, the printing numbers changed and they started getting lower. So it's harder. It's easy to get 1 to 200 for Conan. It's really easy. I mean, there's some in the first 15. There's some expensive issues. Plus, there's issue 47 and 23 and 24 that are also pretty expensive. I think it's 47. It's the first appearance of one of his buddies. And then there's the first appearance of Bailit that is also expensive. Again, the number escapes me. I really got to do more research before I do these things. Then there's Conan 252. So this makes me happy because I have a good chunk of Conan between 100 and 200. But, and I have a decent sized chunk of 50 to 100. Getting these ones from 200 to 275 have been a little more challenging. So anytime I can run, and not only that, I found them in the $3 bin. Anytime you can get books for cheaper, that's great. I also got, to continue my Mike Grell love, I got this one, Warlord 93. The more I read Warlord, the more I like it. And if he's out there listening, Mike Grell, you have an open invitation to come on the channel. I would appreciate the chance to talk to you again. Now, I mentioned G-Riz Comics earlier, Chris. Well, he was having a bunch of bins with the dollar bins, right? So I managed to find a few books from a series that I actually haven't finished. And considering the subject matter, it's surprising that I haven't yet. And this is Legionnaires. I got issues 15. 32. There's a good picture of Pharaoh Lad / Pharaoh at on the cover, coupled with some good shots of Princess Projectra and Saturn Girl. 33, which is got a great shot of the Emerald Eye. I'm just listening to a little happy little bird outside. And Legionnaires 34, which has Shrinking Violet on the cover. Not so shrinking. She's very violet, though. And not violent. Violet, the color. I'm going to end this haul video with the Superman books that I bought. Now, for those that watch the Superman Sunday show of June 8th, you would have seen these books. But they're cool books, so I have to show them again. This is Superman 201. It's one of the ones where Superman and Clark Kent, you know, split up, so to speak, and there seems to be two or whatever. That happened a lot in the era from 1967 when this book came out till about 1970. There was a lot of these, Clark had amnesia for a while, so he thought he was a boxer, he thought he was a criminal, he thought he was a president of the United States. Like, there's a whole bunch of weird storylines that he had. And this era had some really great Neil Adams covers. So if you want to get them, get them. And it was funny because Superman, instead of glasses, had false faces. And it was pretty cool to read. And there's about 3 or 4 issues where he had amnesia, didn't know who he was. And so Clark Kent went missing then too. And it's pretty good. So it's a pretty good era. This is number 203 of Superman, where Superman is a menace to his friends. And the next one I have is a earlier Jimmy Olsen book, number 65, where I'm not sure if this is the first appearance of him as the Porcupine Lad kid or whatever, but it's a really good cover of him. So I'm looking forward to read this. I think I read this story before in one of the 80-page giants, but I'm looking forward to reading it. The next 3 books come from the Pollitt pedigree. This is Superman's Girlfriend, Lois Lane, 57. Not only does it have the spanking cover, but the backup story is the second and final appearance of our man Herko. We love Herko. James Gunn, if you're listening, bring back Herko into one of your movies. Herko is awesome. Next up, we have Superman's Girlfriend 59, where Lara slaps Lois because Lois is trying to court Jor-El. And this story ends with her realizing she'd gone back in time and space, of course. And this story ends with her realizing, wait a minute, that would make me his mother. And thus, she decided against it. Because she was trying to get in with Superman and know more about his family and stuff. The last book I'm going to show is Superman's Girlfriend, Lois Lane, 105. It is the first appearance of this lady down here, who I did a video on not too long ago. Rose and Thorn. Poor Rose Forrest. I hope someday she feels better. But when you're really mortal and you live 1,000 years like she did, it can be a tough slog. So that is what I got at the Orleans comic show. Thank you all very much for spending time with me. If you like this, please like, comment, subscribe below. I especially want to hear comments about who would win the Ferret versus Chuck Norris. That would be a fight that I'd like to pay to see. Hell, I would pay a lot to see. Thank you very much for spending time with me today. I really enjoy making these videos, and I hope to be doing so for a long time yet. My name is Matt. I like comics, and I hope you do too. Bye, everybody.